Okay, so this time let us have solving quadratic equation by factoring. So these are the steps in solving quadratic equation by factoring. The first step is you are going to transform into standard form. So you are going to write the quadratic equation in standard form: ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Then second is factor. Then set each factor equal to 0. Then solve for x. Check using the original equation. For example, we have here x squared minus 5x minus 6 is equal to 0. First thing first, it is we are going to transform in standard form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Since the quadratic equation is already written in standard form, then proceed to factoring. So this time, we have here a quadratic trinomial x squared minus 5x minus 6. So factor first the first term. So what is the factor, or what are the factors of first term? X squared, we have x times x. So we have here x, and we have here x. Then factor the last term. So you are going to factor negative 6 such that the sum is negative 5. Again, look for the factors of negative 6. If you are going to get the sum of the two factors, the result is the linear term negative 5. So, why is it negative 6 and 1? So, negative 6 and 1, if you are going to multiply, the result is negative 6. But if you are going to add negative 6 plus 1, that is a negative 5. So, therefore, the factors are x minus 6 times x plus 1, which is equal to 0. Now, there are many factors of a negative 6. We have here 6 times negative 1. We have a negative 3 times positive 2. We have a positive 3 and a negative 2. Getting the sum of 3 and negative 2, the result is positive 1. Negative 3 and positive 2, that is negative 1. 6 plus a negative 1, that is positive 5. But for a negative 6, added by positive 1 is equal to negative 5. So to find the right factors of the last term, negative 6, you're going to choose the factors whose sum equals to the numerical coefficient of the linear term or the middle term, which is negative 5. So in this case, the factors negative 6 and 1 has the sum of negative 5. That is why we choose negative 6 and positive 1 as the factors of the last term. Then the third step, you are going to equate x minus 6, the first factor, by 0. X plus 1, the second factor, by 0. Solving for x, we are going to transpose 6 here on the right side. So that becomes x sub 1 is equal to positive 6. Then transpose positive 1 on the right side, that is x is negative 1. So therefore, the answers are 6 and a negative 1. Now let us try to check. Substitute 6 and negative 1 from the original equation. So x squared minus 5x minus 6 is equal to 0. So that becomes 6 squared minus 5 times 6 minus 6 is equal to 0. So the square of 6 is 36. Negative 5 times 6 is negative 30. Minus 6 is equal to 0. Negative 30 minus 6 is negative 36. You're going to add, copy the common sign. 36 minus 36 is equal to 0. So therefore, 6 is a root of the given equation. X squared minus 5x minus 6 is equal to 0. How about negative 1? So a negative 1 squared is positive 1. Negative 5 times a negative 1 is positive 5. Bring down negative 6 is equal to 0. 1 plus 5 is 6. Minus 6 is equal to 0. So therefore, we have here negative 1 is another root of the given equation. So therefore, the roots of the equation x squared minus 5x minus 6 equal to 0 are 6 and a negative 1. Okay, next example is 2x squared is equal to 8x. So first thing first, you are going to transform into standard form. Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So you are going to transpose 8x on the left side. So change the sign. That becomes 2x squared minus 8x is equal to 0. The next step is factor the left side of the equation. So since 2x squared minus 8x has a common monomial factor of 2x. So where did you get 2x here? 2 is the GCF of 2 and 8. Then x squared and x, so common on x, just copy the lower degree, which is x. So therefore, divide 2x to each term of this. 2x squared divided by 2x is x. 8x divided by 2x is negative 4 to get the second factor. Now let us try to check. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 4 is negative 8x is equal to 0. So the first factor is 2x. The second factor is x minus 4. So equate each factor to 0. So 2x is equal to 0 and x minus 4 is equal to 0. To solve for x here, divide it by 2. So 0 divided by 2 is 0. Take note, we have here a numerical coefficient by 2, so divide it by 2. So any number divided by 0 divided by any number, the result is equal to 0. Now solving for the values of x here, transpose 4 on the right side, that becomes positive 4. In short, the roots of the given equation is 4 and 0. Now to check whether our answer is correct, substitute the value of 0. 2x squared is equal to 8x from the original equation. We have 0 squared. We have 0 times 2 is equal to 0. 8 times 0 is equal to 0. So therefore, x sub 1 is equal to 0. X sub 2, the second root, we have 4 squared, that is 16 times 2 is 32. 8 times 4 is 32. So 32 is equal to 32. So therefore, 0 and 4 are the roots of 2x squared is equal to 8x. Another example is 4x squared is equal to 20x minus 25. First thing first, you are going to transform into standard form. So you are going to transpose 2x on the left side and 25 on the left side. So that becomes negative 20x and positive 25 is equal to 0. Now you've noticed that 4x squared minus 20x plus 25 is a perfect square trinomial. So how do we know it is a perfect square trinomial? If it is a trinomial, the first term is a perfect square. The second term is a perfect square. So 25 is a perfect square. Then the middle term is equal to the square root of the product of the square root of the first term and the square root of the last term times 2. So to check whether it is a perfect square trinomial, what is the square root of 4x squared? We have 2x. The square root of 25, we have 5. 5 times 2x is 10x times 2 is negative 20x. So using this pattern, x squared minus 2xy plus y squared is equal to the square of x minus y. So this is a perfect square trinomial. So x squared plus 2xy plus y squared is a perfect square trinomial having a factor of the square of x plus y. So since we have here a negative middle term, so we just follow this pattern. Again, how do we know it is a perfect square trinomial? If it is a trinomial, then the first term is a perfect square. The third term is a perfect square. Then the square root of x, the first term, and the square root of the last term, get the product of it, then multiply always it by 2. If it is equal to the middle term, then it is a perfect square trinomial, just like this example. So the factor of 4x squared minus 20x plus 25 is the square of 2x minus 5, following this pattern. 2x squared minus 5. So the square of 2x minus 5 is the same as 2x minus 5 times 2x minus 5 is equal to 0. So we have to equate each factor by 0. So 2x minus 5 is equal to 0 and 2x minus 5 is equal to 0. Take note that they have the same factor. So in short, we have here the same roots. Solving for x, transpose 5 on the right side, that becomes positive 5. Divide it by 2. So the first factor is 5 over 2. The same with the second factor, which is 5 over 2. So this time we have here two equal factors for our quadratic equation. Take note, in the quadratic equations, we have here three possible results. First, we have two unequal roots. We have here two equal roots and there is no real roots. Okay, so to check whether our answer is correct, substitute 5 over 2 from the equation 4x squared is equal to 20x minus 25. So the square of 5 over 2, that is 25 over 4. 25 times 4 is 100. Divided by 4 is 25. The same also with this example. So the square of this is 25. 5 times 20 is 100. Divided by 2 is 50. Minus 25 is equal to 25. So therefore, we have here 25 is equal to 25. So therefore, the values of x sub 1 is equal to 5 over 2 and x sub 2 is 5. So we have here two equal roots. So I hope you learned something today about solving quadratic equation by factoring. Take note, this can only be applied if the given expressions or the given equation is factorable. If it is not, then do not use factoring.
I never made it, but I know what it